Okay, we're continuing in chapter 4. We've been talking about wealth and about mistakes that people make when pursuing wealth. And yesterday we spoke about the 3 mistakes that many people make when they pursue wealth. Now we're going to speak about another mistake. So why aren't there 4 mistakes? Because the 3 mistakes are really like 3 fundamental misconceptions about the nature of wealth. Now this is like a different type of a mistake. This is a mistake, like a mistaken intention that a person can have when they pursue wealth. In other words, what they think they're going to achieve by running after money. So let's go into the text. Yesh mibnei adam kites she'einem mishtadlim liknes hamamin laharbes mimeno ela la'avas hakoved mibnei adam vela'ases lohem shame. Then there are types of people who make the effort of acquiring great wealth only for the love of honor and to make a name for themselves. In other words, it's not the money itself that they want, it's the covet that they want, and the money is the way to get the covet. Ve'ein maspik lehem mimenu shum davar. So that it's never enough for them. The wealth is never enough because they never have enough covet. You know, when you need to be validated in any other way than from the fact that Hashem created you, it will never be enough. The only real validation that anyone can have why you deserve to exist, why you deserve to breathe air, why are you here? What justification do you have? The only valid answer to that is, I didn't put myself here. He put me here, and he knows what he's doing. So that's the only vote of confidence that I need, and I'm validated. But if that's not enough for you, and you're seeking other types of validation, it's endless. It'll never be enough. It'll never be enough approval. It'll never be enough validation. And so for the person who chases after wealth because wealth is his way of getting, or he thinks it's that way of getting that validation, it'll never hit the spot. It'll never do for him what he wants it to do for him. He wants it to give him an identity. He wants it to give him a reason for living. And it just doesn't have that in it. So it'll never be able to provide that. This intention of theirs is due to their ignorance of what will bring real honor in this world and in the next. So they don't know what real covet is all about. Now, where did they get their erroneous misconception? I guess that's redundant, right? Erroneous misconception. But where do they get their worldview that they think money will bring honor? Well, Rabenu Bachaye tells us a little psychology over here. The cause for this is they see how the Amei Ha'aretz, the common folk, the ignorant people, honor the rich people. Because the common people crave what the rich people have. They envy it. And they're drawn after, they're attracted to what the rich people have. It's interesting. The Nether McCoy, one of our favorite commentaries on the Chovos HaLevavos we mention quite often, he points out a really, really just, I think, superb insight into human nature. Why do the Amei Ha'aretz, why do the ignorant common folk think rich people are cool? Why is that interesting? Why do they want to know about rich people? Why do they want to hang out around rich people? So, Rabenu Bachaye says because they envy what the rich person has. But the Nether McCoy expands upon this and he says that they hope, or they have some type of a fantasy, I guess, that if they hang around rich people and they are obsequious to rich people and they can get rich people to like them or to notice them, then that will lead to them becoming rich. They think they're going to become rich through osmosis. So, because it's a funny chain reaction, because Rabenu Bachaye is saying there are people who are wealthy and they're obsessed with maintaining their wealth and constantly expanding their wealth. Why? Because they think it'll bring them honor. And where did they get this idea that it'll bring them honor? Because they see the most ignorant and unrefined people being impressed with rich people. And why are the ignorant, unrefined people impressed with rich people? Because these ignorant, unrefined people have some type of a weird fantasy in their mind that if they hang out with the rich people or hang around them or somehow curry their favor and get some attention from the rich person, somehow by osmosis, they're gonna become wealthy too. They're going to be brought into the inner circle. There's a story that happened in Lubavitch. There was once a guy who was a poor guy and he had Chovos, he had debts to pay off, and it was really, really weighing heavily on him. And he went into Simchas Torah with like some serious financial burden, but he tried to put it out of his mind. And he went to HaLevavos and he was dancing. Anyways, at the HaLevavos, somehow, I guess he was dancing a lot, and someone else who was dancing a lot at the Chovos was the chassid Shmuel Gerari. Shmuel Gerari was a big dvir, an industrialist. He had factories. He made a lot of money. So he was a rich guy. So this poor guy who was struggling with Parnas, and he went into Yom Tov with all this financial strain on him. He ended up dancing, like him and Shmuel Gerari were dancing together. They were together, one-on-one. There was a circle around them. Everyone was watching them and clapping. They were dancing together, and they danced together for hours. So after Yom Tov, the guy goes back home. I don't know if he lived in Lubavitch or he traveled to Lubavitch for Yom Tov, but whenever he gets back home, and he tells his wife, "Ich bin schon geholfen. We're saved. Our problem solved." On Simchas Torah, who was I dancing with? With Shmuel Gerari. No less than Shmuel Gerari. I was dancing with Shmuel Gerari. We got it made. We're set. So, obviously his wife is hoping, she doesn't want, look, the guy is under a lot of strain. This is the one thing that lifted his spirits. So, okay, fine. Yeah, all right. Yeah. Anyways, he says, it's all taken care of. I'm going to go see him in his office tomorrow. We're friends. We're good friends. We're dancing together. So the next day, the guy goes to Shmuel Gerari's office or to the factory, whatever it was, and he goes to the secretary. I have an appointment with the boss, with the balabos, and I'm a good friend of his. Tell him I'm here to see him. And so he's sitting he didn't say he have an appointment. To the contrary, from the story of Vaisdoi, he just shows up. He rolls in, right? He tells the receptionist, whoever it is, tell Mr. Gerari I'm here, right? Okay, so he's waiting in the lobby. Nothing. He's like, did you tell him I'm here? Tell him, I'm his friend from Simchas Torah. Tell him, they told him his name, whatever the name was. Shmuel Gerari is still not coming out. Did you tell him I'm here? No. Okay, the guy's not coming out. And then finally, at one point, Shmuel Gerari comes out very quickly. He just walks very quickly through the lobby, like passes right by, just walks right through. He's going from point A to point B, just makes a beeline, goes straight through the lobby, and then he stops and he sees this chassid sitting in his lobby. And he looks at him a second, and he makes recognition, like who he is, and he looks at him. He says, "Tanzen, nicht da, nicht jetzt," and he walks out of the lobby. Dancing, not here and not now. And then he walks out of the lobby. Okay, so this guy, that was a really long story for such a payoff. I hope it was a good payoff. At any rate, so this guy was under the illusion, because he was dancing in Simchas Torah with a rich guy. Now he's got it made. Okay. But that's the way that the ignorant people see things. And somebody sent me a private chat. The private chats, by the way, people underutilize the private chats. That sometimes your rich friends can help you out. So it is, Anyways, if you're a fundraiser, then maybe it's a little different because then you know how to hobnob. It's like by the way, when I go to like the fancy dinners, like the expensive fundraiser dinners, I don't go to them, but if I'm like brought there to work. So I see usually there's a few kinds of people who go to them. There are the people who are running the event, and usually it's a lot of people who are involved in any Mosid, and they're all there because they have to be there because that's their Mosid's event. Then there are the rich people, and then there are the fundraisers who want to be seated with the rich people. Okay, so that's probably what this comment is referring to. At any rate, yeah, it's a strategy. That's a strategy. Okay, we'll see if we'll continue learning Chovos HaLevavos if that's a good strategy, if that will help. Anyways, so getting back to the main point, the rich guy is obsessed with making more and more and more and more money because he's trying to feed this bottomless pit of wanting validation. And where did he get the idea that having wealth would get him validation? Because he sees these proste amei haaretz who give a lot of attention to rich people because they're under the illusion that Nether McCoy says that it's going to make them rich. Okay. V'ilu hiskilu, but if they would be smart, vehevinu, and they would understand. Ki ein biyacholpam v'loy bekeicham. It's not within the power or the ability, loy laseis v'loy limnaya, not to give and not to withhold wealth. We're talking about the rich people don't have the power to give or withhold wealth. Except to one whom the Creator has decreed the wealth should go to. So if they realized that, they would not set their hopes on anyone but Hashem. They wouldn't find these people befitting honor or worthy of honor. Ella, except me, shichadohu habeda b'mailas mushubaches roiba vuron lekveid habeda yisale. They would see only those who the Creator has distinguished with outstanding qualities, which make that person worthy of the Creator's honor. Then the people would honor them. Kamesha Kosov, like it says, Ki mechabdai achabed. For those who honor me, meaning those who honor Hashem, I will honor. So really only the people who are honorable people who have attained certain character refinement, certain milas. Now, hold on, you're going to say, what about the Gemara tells us that Rabbi Yehuda Nasi used to be Mechabed Hashirim. Yeah, that's true. Why was Mechabed Hashirim? Why did Rabbi give honor to wealthy people? Because it's a responsibility. And when somebody uses that responsibility correctly, it's definitely worthy of honor. Okay? But it doesn't mean that intrinsically being wealthy is worthy of honor. Being wealthy is not worthy of honor any more than being handsome is worthy of honor. Or being tall. It's not something that you actually caused. You have no control over that. It's a lottery. So why should you be praised for something that you didn't accomplish? Now, becoming a mensch, that's totally praiseworthy because you have control over that. In fact, that's the only thing you have control over. Hakobi de Shemaim chutz me'yiras Shemaim. So somebody who's refined, someone who's edel, who's humble, who has good midos, definitely he's worthy of honor because that's something he had to actually choose to do. Now, a wealthy person who uses his wealth in a humble way, in a gracious way, in a productive way, that's definitely worthy of praise. That itself is a great milah and a great midah. But not the wealth itself. That's like, honoring somebody because, you think they have great hair, All right. Pretty shallow. Umipnei shesachlu amei haaretz bechabdam balei hamamin besibes hakavod. Because the common people, the crass people, by honoring the wealthy, show their ignorance. Let's call it ignorance. It's a more polite term. Hoisef lehem abeira sichlos besibais bakashoisam. So the Creator in turn gives them more ignorance. You know the expression, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. It's like the search engine echo chamber. It's why today everything is so polarized. You know why it's polarized today? Because of clickbait. They want to keep you clicking. So if you're interested in an ideology, YouTube is going to want to keep you up till 4 a.m. watching more and more videos of it. So what are they going to do? They're going to show you more and more extremist versions of the thing you're interested in, right? So-and-so destroys so-and-so in debate about such and such, right? And I'm not joking. That's how people become radicalized. That's how they become radicalized. So anyways, and then you remember it was really interesting. So then you go search for it in Google, and now you're in the loop. You know, that's it, forget about it. And now you're stuck in this unending search engine bubble where you're getting increasingly more extremist versions, clickbaity, emotionally triggering versions of whatever it is that you were interested in, right? Okay, well, I got to tell you something. In a certain way, life is like that already. I think the internet just made it more so, amplified it. But life is like that already because whatever you're looking for is what you're going to see more of. This is not the point here, but we know that people who have faith and they look at things through eyes of faith, they find more faith. And people who are cynical and they want reasons to doubt, that's how they look at things, then they find in everything more motivation and affirmation for their doubt. Well, that's kind of what we're saying here, is that people are looking at life from a very foolish point of view, and they find more and more foolishness. And that's basically what it's saying here. V'naflu b'hishtadlus gedela v'yagia rabba kol yameim, and they fall into a trap or a loop of constant exertion their whole lives. Just the unending grind. The hamster wheel. Can't get off the hamster wheel. They leave aside that which they're supposed to be toiling for, right? We said before, so what should you be toiling for? To become a mensch. To have yiras shamayim, because then you're actually toiling for something. You can control something about it. You can do something about it. But these things that are in hakril bidei shamayim, that are in God's hands, nothing you can do about them. So you're running on the hamster wheel. And meanwhile, not only are they devoting their lives to something that they can't accomplish, but they've frittered away all that energy that they could have been using on stuff that they could accomplish. Anybody who tells me right now, I want to finish Shas. Okay, I didn't go to yeshiva. I can't read Hebrew. I want to finish Shas. You know what? In today's day and age, you can go buy an art school. You can go buy Steinsaltz. He can go finish Shas. There's nothing stopping him. But somebody says, I want to become a millionaire. Today, a millionaire is middle class anyway. So what's the point of a millionaire? Someone says, I want to make 10 million, 100 million. It's a nice thing. Okay. Beautiful, but who says you're going to accomplish it? And if you spend your whole life trying to finish Shas, you'll finish Shas a few times. But if you spend your whole life trying to become a millionaire or make $10 million or $100 million or whatever it is, or 1 penny more than whatever Hashem decreed, you're going to waste your life. You're on the hamster wheel. Okay? All right. So they leave aside that which they should be working on. And also they leave aside that which they should be pursuing, the duties that Hashem has put on them. They're not worried about that. They're not spending their time on that. And also offering thanks for His kindness toward them. They're not paying attention to that. To the contrary, they've made themselves feel ungrateful. They have they're frustrated, so they're ungrateful. V'tiyena bakashaysam yese krevos aleihem b'derech hazeh bli safek. And what happens is the achievement of these desires would have actually been more efficiently accomplished. It's ironic if they had focused on the stuff that they've been ignoring and ignore the stuff that they've been focusing on. Kamesha Amar Kosov, like the Torah says, Erich Yamin Bimina, talking about Torah, that on its right is length of days, Bismela Eshavechovet, and on its left side is wealth and honor. Meaning he goes after Torah, and in the end he gets the wealth and honor. Okay, but he goes after the wealth and the honor, he doesn't get Torah, and he doesn't get the wealth and honor. V'yamer, v'ha'eshav ha'kovid milfanecha. It also says that the riches and the honor come from you, come from Hashem. Somebody sent me a private chat. How does somebody know if it's possible he could become a rich man? Okay, so you're going to say this is an oversimplified answer, but I'm telling you the answer according to Chovos HaLevavos. Here's the answer. First of all, prioritize your relationship with Hashem. Put that first. Okay, you get up in the morning, first thought should be, after Meida'ani, your first thought should be, what are you doing for Hashem today? What are you doing to be a servant? Okay. Then second priority is a kli for parnasa, which has to be some normal way of making a living. It can't be weird, it can't be bizarre, it can't be a 1 in a million shot. By the way, he talks about it. I mentioned the Maimer Derech Mitzvah Sechet Teglachs Metzora. He says make a budget. Tzemach Tzedek says make a budget. He actually says figure out how much money you need, and then he says figure out what kind of ASIC would make that kind of money. He actually says it's a Maimer Chassidus, but over there he says figure it out, because the kli b'derech hatava is very important to have a natural means for this. He says figure out how much money you need, figure out how much money you want, figure out what kind of job would bring in that kind of money, and then daven, and then then go do the thing, and then go daven. And if you're meant to have it, and if you have those brachas coming to you, then you've provided an adequate kli for the Eibishter to fill. And then you know, if it doesn't work out, that you're not meant to have that kind of money. And you have to be ready to get the answer. The answer may be no. Now, if you tell Hashem, I want to do tshuva and I want to become a mensch, and you say, but I tried it and it didn't work. Try again. The answer wasn't no. The answer was keep trying. Why? Because your Yiras Shamayim you could actually do something about. But the guy who said, I tried to strike it rich, and I had a decent plan. It wasn't a harebrained scheme. And I was doing what I needed to do as far as my ruchnias, my learning, my davening, whatever else. And I just never could break past a certain point. Okay, so then just relax and be comfortable with the fact that that wasn't meant for you. You were never supposed to break past a certain point. You didn't starve to death. You didn't die of starvation, God forbid. The Eibishter took care of you. Okay, so you wanted to be wealthy. Okay, so you weren't wealthy. You didn't die. You didn't die of starvation. You survived. We have a very, very high bar as far as what we consider making a decent living. We're so wealthy. Our standard of living is so high. Once upon a time, people didn't know if their children were going to eat every day. When people went out to work, the goal of working was that their family should be able to eat this day. We never think about whether we're going to eat today. We think about whether we're going to be able to, go to Florida for the winter and the Catskills for the summer. Well, if that's your expectation of what, making it means, maybe it's not going to work out. But you're certainly, invited to try, have a normal scheme. I shouldn't say scheme because that implies something funny business. But have a normal plan of what could make you a parnasa. Go try it and see. And see if you're meant to be super wealthy. Okay?